Hey, what's up? Biz out here. And this is a video response to Bookhouse Boy's Blu-ray giveaway where he's asking for 5 random facts about you, or in this case, me. So I sat down and I came up with 5 random facts about myself. And here they are. The first one, I wrote and performed in community theater and improv dinner theater. Yes. I became a theater geek late in life. It was during college. I was playing on my college football team. And here's how awful my college football team was. This is how the coach scouted. If you were a big guy walking around campus and he saw you, he would ask you to try out for the team. That's how he got me. I had never played organized football before in my life. My high school, we didn't have football, or didn't have a football team. I played baseball in high school. And, you know, outside of just the usual backyard football with my buddies, I had never played organized football before. So this was a whole new thing for me. I was playing, I was having fun. I had an injury. I incurred a knee injury that kept me out for a while, and I finally ended up just quitting the team. And I was kind of depressed about that. I was kind of down about that. And the theater thing happened. A friend of mine who was involved in a community theater guild knew me. She knew I was a ham. She knew that I was, you know, goofy, and asked me if I wanted to perform in a play. Literally, it was a small part. There was about a week before the opening night, and the guy who was going to play the role, it was for the role called for a male to dress in drag and play a female. That was the role. It was a very ugly woman, a very ugly, drunken woman piano instructor. And the guy who was going to play that role, his family, being from this area, of course, in Kentucky, very religious, did not want their son being seen in public dressed as a woman. And he backed out, so they had about a week to find somebody. They found me. I did the play. Actually, the first half of the play, I showed up as the woman in drag. I die at the end of the very first act. And then in the second act, they had me come out and play the female character who I played in the first act's husband, who was the mayor of the town. He wasn't in the play. He was mentioned in the play, so they basically just said, just come out and improvise and have fun. And it was just a rush. I mean, being out there in front of all these people and getting laughs. I mean, hearing the crowd react to you and laugh and applaud. It was a great high. It felt really good. And performed in several other plays, improvised dinner theater, where you invite people to come. They sit through dinner. There's people. A murder happens, and then they play detective. We all come out, the suspects. We tell our stories. Yada yada yada. Then during intermission, we get up and we walked around the crowd while their desserts or something was being served, and they could ask us questions. And I remember the second night that we did the play, I decided that it would be interesting to perform drunk. So I came to the play drunk, and during that intermission where we were mingling in the audience, I got really belligerent with this woman and was just yelling right in her face. And some people were disturbed by it. Some people were like, wow, man, this guy's dedicated. So yeah, that was a lot of fun doing that. That's a thing of the past now, though. Number 2, I actually wrote a movie. I wrote a movie. In the early 2000s, I was involved in a movie review website that's no longer around. And part of the accoutrements of having a website, a review website, a movie review website that gains a certain level of popularity is independent filmmakers will contact you and ask you to review their movies, and 98, 99% of those are total crap. There were a couple of standouts. There was one guy who had done an anthology, really low budget. I thought it was pretty good. We stayed in touch. We were about the same age. We liked the same kind of movies. We loved 80s slasher movies, and I said, man, I would love to write an 80s slasher movie. And he said, go ahead, write it. I might make it. I wrote it. He liked it. I basically gave him the script, put it in writing that basically I wasn't going to get any money for the script. Gave it to him. About 2 years ago, he contacted me and said, hey man, we just finished shooting your movie. So it took about 8 years for the thing to happen. It got made. The finished result is a pale approximation of my original script, which was basically just your straight, set them up, knock them down, backwoods slasher movie called Reunion was my original script. The movie is called Reunion of Terror, Rot. It was released through Shockorama Cinema a couple of years ago. It's okay. It's not bad. It's kind of fun, I guess. I don't know. I'm credited with the idea by. I'm the idea guy. So, wrote a movie. Number 3. I took some steroids one time. I'm pretty sure they were steroids. When I was a kid, I had a problem with if I saw a glass somewhere with some sort of liquid substance in it, I would walk over, pick it up, and drink it. And I was she was an old woman. She was a friend of the family, and there was a liquid substance in one of those, like the cups that come on top of the NyQuil that you're supposed to take the NyQuil with. And I saw it. It looked tasty. I grabbed it up. I drank it. It tasted awful. I've always... Shortly thereafter, I went from a fairly regular sized kid to, I blew up. I became, I'm like 6'4", 6'5" now. Big guy. Anybody who's met me, I'm really big. So I've always just kind of been like, I bet that was some sort of steroid, human growth, something that I drank when I was a very little kid at this old lady's place, and so I've always just sort of thought, yeah, I drank some steroids or something. I don't know. It just it kind of makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Number 4. This is the most embarrassing moment of my life. And the reason why I now wear glasses. I've always had poor vision. I've always had 20/40 vision. One eye is perfect, one eye is not so perfect, and the good eye overcompensates for the bad eye and strains the eye. And I hadn't noticed how bad my vision had gotten until about 8 years ago, somewhere around there. I was playing in a softball game, and I used to be a big softball player. Fall league, summer league, softball games, and get together with the guys and play some softball. We had our own team, blah, 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 blah. And I hadn't played in a few years, and a buddy of mine, they needed somebody, so he called me up, said, come on out. I went out there, I said, what the hell, brought my glove. Went out there, got up to bat, and I had absolutely no depth perception. The ball was probably 5 feet in front of me, but it looked like it was right on top of me. So, I was swinging at the ball, and then it would, So, I was not in good shape. I was squinting. I looked awkward. My mechanics were all messed up because I couldn't. It was just a mess, and I struck out playing softball. Now, this was when I was a big softball player, and I would see people striking out playing softball. I would think that was like The most embarrassing thing that you could ever do in your life, strike out playing softball. Slow pitch softball, beer league softball, okay? Big, fat, tubby guys, you know, playing softball. Unathletic people playing a semi-athletic sport. And I struck out. And I got up to bat again, and I struck out again. Got up to bat for the third time, and I said, God damn it, I will, you know, if I've got to throw myself in front of this ball and, you know, hit it to the pitcher, I'm going to hit the damn ball. I struck out 3 times in a softball game. I was not happy. I mean, the most embarrassing moment of my life was that night. That was the most embarrassing night. Not just moment, embarrassing night of my life. I came home, I said, man, you've got to get your eyes checked. I went and got my eyes checked. My vision, which was 20/40, had gotten significantly worse in the since I'd last been to the eye doctor. And I got me some specs, got me some glasses. I see a lot better now. But yikes! I mean, that was the most embarrassing night of my life. And random factoid number 5, I am a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. When the show first came on, I always liked the movie. But I recognized that the movie wasn't that great of a movie. So when I heard that they were making a show for it on the WB, I was like, oh wow, you're taking this movie that wasn't very good, that didn't make a lot of money at the box office, and you're going to put it on the WB. I mean, you've got 2 strikes against you already. I remember watching the show. I remember liking the show a lot. I remember being vaguely pissed off after the first episode when I realized that she's not going to be fighting vampires every episode. You know, there are other demons and monsters and ghouls and things to kill. Loved the series. Watched it up until like the season 4. When they went into college. That was about the same time I went into college, and I had other things on my mind than Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was in college. So I went away from the show. I got back with the show in syndication probably 5 or 6 years ago. I was going through kind of a hard time. I was having a lot of trouble finding a job. I was feeling useless. I was broke. I was living at home. Didn't have a whole lot of things going for me. And I rediscovered Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I have to say, as cliche, as corny as it sounds, that show really helped me. I mean, that was something to look forward to. I fell in love with all the characters all over again. I loved, I got to, see shows that I remembered really liking, back in the day. And, I got to catch up on season 5 and 6 and 7 and see how the series ended. And I think it's a great show. It was incredibly well written. The characters were great. I own all the Buffy seasons 1 through 7. They're back there somewhere. I don't know which way to go. So love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love pretty much anything Joss Whedon does. Really enjoyed Firefly. I own that. Season 1 of that. I loved Serenity. I've got that on DVD and Blu-ray. Angel, I thought was a pretty good series. I didn't watch any of Dollhouse though. Unfortunately, that show came and went pretty quick, I think. I'm looking forward to Justice League that Whedon is directing. So, anyway, five random factoids about me for Mr. Bookhouse Boy 77. If you're a subscriber of mine, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you're probably a subscriber of him, or you know of him, or you've heard of him. If you're not a subscriber of his, I highly recommend that you go over and click that yellow button. He's a very cool guy. We share the same distaste for the friend function on YouTube, which is basically YouTube sponsored spamming, in my opinion. But Yeah. So anyway, until next time, you guys take it easy and peace.